Facebook. Welcome to everybody that's joining the live. Shout out to everybody that's joining. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Whatever platform you're joining on. What's up? What's up? What's up? If you don't know who I am, let me get an opportunity to introduce myself. I go by Zabo103. I'm the dude that get on these live platforms and really I get on here and I try to provoke thought, y'all. That's basically what I do. I try to get people to think a little bit because the reality of it is, I think that maybe it's a lost art. A lot of times, um, people really don't spend a lot of time just critically thinking. And I think if people spent more time at least trying to critically think, I think people would accomplish more. Let me see what we got going on down here. I don't know what's going on now. So, what I will tell you, if this is your first time on my live, shout out to y'all. It's your first time on my live. It's your first time on my live. I only got one real ask. Think a little bit, do some research, and take some action. Because I promise you, your future self will thank you. A lot of the things that you're gonna hear on this live specifically today, it might be things that you never heard before, and that's okay, y'all. None of us know everything. We just don't. And if we were in a position that we were very ecstatic about where we were in life, no one would be really continue to search for more if that's what they if they were in their space, right? But I've been doing these lives now for about, man, 97 weeks straight. And over this 97 weeks that we've been, tapping in with y'all going live, I got to be honest, y'all. I know people are telling me that they learn so much when they're on my live, and I'm having these talking about these different things. But I've learned a lot, y'all, over these last 97 weeks. And what I will say is that the biggest opportunity that most people have, and we all guilty of it. I'm not exempt for some of these things. We use our fears to stop us from accomplishing what we want to accomplish. You don't know how many people that you didn't ran into, or probably yourself, that say, "Hey, I'm just a procrastinator. I got to stop procrastinating." That's a fear. Why are you really procrastinating? What is the fear that's keeping you procrastinating? Really? What's really holding you back? Some people understand that they're lazy and they won't talk about it. They won't address it, but they know they lazy, right? Some people believe that they have to network with the million people in order to get to whatever level that they're trying to get to. And for whatever it's worth, if that's what you believe, when are you going to start networking with these people so you can get to wherever you got to go? They're not roadblocks, y'all. No one's gatekeeping information, people. That's just not the truth. The truth is, you're comfortable where you're at. You really don't want to go outside of that comfort zone because you're afraid you're going to make a mistake. You are afraid that if you do one thing, you're going to be back in a place where you said that you never want to be before. And the reality of it is, the greatest part of your life is on the other side of fear. Now, over these last couple of days, I've been, I do a lot of brainstorming, I do a lot of thinking, I do a lot of research. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Some of the things that I've seen over the last 48 to 72 hours in me doing my brainstorming, my thinking, my research and all, this world is not as complicated as people make it. If your goal is really to go out there to get a bag, ain't nothing stopping you from going to get money, y'all. If that's what this is about. What's up, family? It's just not a, it's nothing stopping you from going to get money if that's what this is about. If if your goal is to go out to find love, happiness, there is nothing stopping you from going to get what you want. You just got to make a real clear decision on what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, and start putting your actions that align with what you said. I know a lot of times, and I get it. A lot of people hit me with this whole thing of, I want to do this, but I don't know how. The mere fact that you can say you don't know how, I promise you, you have a clear understanding on how to do it. How can I say that? I can say it because with all the technology that we have out here, if there's anything you don't know how to do, you can ask Siri, you can ask Google, you can ask Alexa, you can ask all these different tools that are out here how to do these things, and you'll get the information instantly. So, how is it possible? Now I'm asking how. How is it possible that you're saying you don't know how to do something in 2024? This stuff is really mind blowing to me. It ain't no secrets, y'all. The only secrets that are out here right now are the things that you're keeping yourself away from because you're afraid that you're going to fail. And the reality of it is, being that you're not taking steps, you already failing. You're failing the moment you decide not to take steps. I hope you understand what I just said. So you got to get out of this mode of self-sabotaging yourself. You got to. Because none of this stuff is complicated. Like, I'll give you an example. Everybody know, and I've been talking about it for a minute now, almost 7 months now. At the top of the year, we're doing this thing where we building out this estate, right? On this 41 and a half acres of land. And I guess the best way for me to say this so people understand, when I say we're building out our estate, we're doing it debt free. I want y'all to understand what I just said. We're doing it debt free. Now, most people say, no, you don't want to do that debt free because of this, because of that, because of this. But that's just my vision. That's what we're doing, right? When we very first sat down with our architect, and he gave us the original number with all the big dreams and all the things that we wanted on this property, the number was $7 million. And my wife, when me and her looked at each other, we said to ourselves, we understand that when you don't know how to do something, people going to tax you in order to do it for you. And y'all know how I am. I'm the type of person, if somebody else can do something, as long as it's not illegal, ain't nothing stopping me from doing it. As a person that they built 29 homes out his own pocket, why am I so afraid? And I called it fear. I called it just what it was. Why am I so afraid to attack this property? It's the same process. There is no difference. So as me and my wife sat down and we talking about this $7 million that we're about to build this estate with, debt free, I started using common sense. I said to myself, I know they're going to try to charge me an extra 20% for this land. And I already own the land. I know this builder is going to upcharge me 30%. And then I understand this builder is also going to try to charge me for the material on top of the material. That blew my mind. So I said to myself, I know I got to pay for these blueprints. I know I got to get this engineer to get this site plan the way I need this site plan to be with all the codes so it can be straight. So I'm gonna have to pay that regardless because I ain't got no choice. But when I looked at the what all the thing was, I said, "Oh man, I'm spending all my money in the finishes. That's where all my money going." And this stuff don't even make logical sense anymore. But I'm getting double charged for this stuff. So what did I do? I do what I do best. I thought about it. I did some research, and then I took some action. Y'all know what I figured out? All these discounts. I hope the builders in here don't get upset at me. Shout out to y'all. I got nothing but love for y'all. But all these discounts that these builders get from all these vendors that they go to, I didn't, as an ignorant person, because I'm still ignorant to a lot of things, I just decided to go directly to these companies and get the material myself. The price point that they were trying to charge me for the material of this property that we're about to build out was double. I couldn't believe it. And I was told that was a discount, the double. But me going and applying the material, getting the material myself, as I know how to do, and just hiring laborers to do the work. How much are you going to charge me per hour? Or what is going to be your labor flat rate fee? That number has dropped down from $7 million to $1.5 million just based off of me thinking, doing a little bit of research, and taking some action. I need you to understand what I just said. A lot of people can't even wrap their brain around this because the littlest thing, you don't think about it. You don't research this stuff, and you damn sure ain't taking action. I understood when you're building properties, you don't want to build wide because when you build wide, you're going to spend more money. Why are you spending more money when you build wide? Because you need more foundation. You want to build up as much as possible because it's cheaper. Why? Less foundation. I knew that. But I was the person just like everybody else. I'm about to get ready to build this property. I just want to be what I want, how I want it, how this way, this way. Not realizing I can get what I want, how I want, and more if I did it myself. I want you to think, people, you're doing this stuff every single day. You're doing it every day. When you go to work, you're busting your butt for somebody else's last name. That's the truth. You get money from a consumer slash a customer, giving it to your job for them to give you a fraction back on payday. And around February next year, you're going to be begging for a raise during your performance review just to get a 3% raise. Pennies. But you the one supplying the money. When are we going to wake up? And it don't matter what level you on. No matter what level you on, you still go through it. Y'all just saw realistically me explain how I still go through some of the same mental blocks. So nobody's exempt from it. You got to constantly keep thinking, people. You got to constantly keep doing research, people. You got to constantly keep taking action, people. I remember we were first looking for an architect. This joker told me, we're going to charge you $3 a square foot to draw out your actual state. So you telling me for 25,000 square foot in total, you're going to charge me $75,000 to draw out this blueprint. He said, that's my number. Okay, I'll be back. In my head, I envisioned spending 100 grand. So in my head, I'm like, this is cheap. Just to get to thinking a little bit and saying to myself, if he's charging me $3 a square foot, what would happen if I find me a stock blueprint that got the square footage that I want? I buy the additional thing, the CAD, AutoCAD, so they can make any architect can make adjustments to it if they need it. I go spend $7,000 for the blueprint just to make sure I get the square footage of the house I want. Then I take it to the architect, and instead of taking the whole 25,000 square foot, switch drawing it from scratch at $3 a square foot, I have them make adjustments on 2,000 square foot. I spent $7,000 for the blueprint. I made $2,000 in adjustments on the square footage. I'm giving this architect $6,000. I'm sending $7,000 for the plan. That's $13,000. It just saved me 75 grand. Uh-oh. Think, y'all. You gotta think. You gotta research. And you gotta take action. You could go through the class 100%. Or you can just think. How long is it gonna take you to get through that class? How long is it gonna take you to get that license? Think, y'all. The point that I'm making here is this, y'all. Nothing is off the table as long as it's legal. As long as it's legal, nothing's off the table. Nothing's stopping you if this stuff is legal, y'all. The reason why people run into problems, they're trying to figure out how to break the law. Stop trying to figure out how to get around the law and just follow it. It's way better. It just is what it is, y'all. What I want people to understand today on this live, and I'm not going to spend 4 hours on here today or tonight, but what I want people to understand is that you are your own biggest roadblock. You're your own biggest roadblock. And I ain't trying to come down on nobody because I'm not better than anybody else. It just is what it is. But at some point, you got to just tell yourself the truth. You just got to. You got to stop blaming all these other folks. Look in the mirror, that's who you blame. You can't blame, ladies, these no good men. Fellas, you can't blame these no good women. You can't put it off that you had kids. You can't put it off on your parents. What's up, family? You just can't. It's you. You can't blame the people out here, these gurus, these evil wealthy people. You can't blame the system. The system been the system for all your life. You can try to fight it as long as you want, but the reality of it is the system, I ain't seen nobody beat it. So what does that mean? Follow it. It's way easier. These things aren't that complicated. At least not as complicated as will make it. This process that I talk to all the time, that 10-year process, it blows my mind how many people try to poke holes through that process. And when I say it blows my mind, how many times people try to poke holes through that process, and I laugh at it. Because in my mind, I'm saying, if you start from where you at today, no money saved, credit is all right, you live in paycheck to paycheck, in 10 years, you see yourself having, I don't know, the number we normally come up with is $4.8 million tax free and 100 grand a month on top of the $4.8 million. Even if you don't get that process 100% right and you only get it 50% right, which is a F in any school across this country, you still looking at $2.4 million tax free and $50,000 a month. It's in a much better place than where you at right now today. Make that make sense. Please make that make sense for me. This is why you got to spend time thinking, y'all. You got to. You just have to spend time thinking, understanding what it is that you really want out of life. And once you figured out what you want out of life, as long as it's legal, go get it. Go get it. I'll be having, men hit me up, man. I want to do this, man, but my wife, man, she just don't want to do that, man. Women hit me up. I would love to do this, but I need to find me a man first. But these men out here ain't no good. Here's what I'm learning in my 47 years of being on this planet, y'all. People are selfish. And that's the truth. People don't understand that you gotta have this unconditional love in you in order for you to accomplish what I'm talking about, y'all. When I make statements like there's only one person in your bloodline that's gonna be able to change your bloodline life, it might not be you, y'all. It might just not be you. It might be somebody else in your bloodline that's meant to change your bloodline life. It's only one. Now, I'm gonna own that I'm the one in my family because then nobody else do it. But more importantly, I'm gonna own it not just because nobody do it. When I say don't nobody do it, didn't nobody do it. I didn't see nobody in my family showing unconditional love. All the love that was showing up had conditions on it. People in my family wild too. They super wild. They do wild stuff all the time. When I say wild stuff, I mean ignorant stuff. Hey, I need this amount of money because I need to do this. Hey, I can't give you no money, but I'll give you a job. I'll give you a job and you're gonna make enough money not only take care of your bills that you have for the short time you're gonna have bills, as long as you're following this process I'm talking about. Hey, I'm gonna make sure you have more than enough to do what you need to do. But you need to follow this process so you don't have bills. Because when you get rid of your bills, guess what's gonna happen, boys and girls? Some of these money issues that you calling issues, you won't have no more. Just follow the process. I got people in my family that won't follow the process. Man, I appreciate you giving me the job, man, but I had to catch up on this. I had to do that. I had to do this. And I had to do that. All right, I get it. You had to do it. You're still making bread. You're still doing what you're doing. I ain't mad at you. Right? Hey, cuz I need to hold something. I gave you a job. I let you hold a whole job. I don't know what else I can do. I can't do nothing else. Man, I had this thing pop up, man. I gotta make sure I take care of this. Man, you were just hanging out last week, man. I'm not mad at you. I'm gonna show you love, but you were just hanging out. What the hell are you celebrating? Failure? This doesn't make sense. I'm gonna give you that tough love, but I can't bail you out because I'm telling you, in every problem, there's a profit. And in that pain that you're gonna go through, whatever you're gonna go through, by you not being able to do what you gotta do, it's gonna make you stronger. And I can tell you right now, the people that didn't had the strongest struggles, yo, your deepest struggles, in my eyes, are going to determine how far you go. So if you ain't been through nothing, not saying that you have to go through something. Some people learn from other people. But if you ain't been through nothing and you still making things worse for yourself and people constantly bailing you out, you ain't had no struggle. You got to go through it. There are people on my live right now just like that. I got people in my family like that. I used to be that person. Imagine somebody asking you to borrow some money. The reason why they ask you to borrow money, they ain't got no money. They can't afford to pay you back. Y'all know that, right? Think about what I just said. So what am I saying? What am I saying? What am I saying? What am I saying tonight? I'm simply saying later for the excuses, y'all. To all my people on here, shout out to y'all that's saying, hey, can I connect with you? Can I get some time? Man, I'm building a course. You really can't afford my time. I get on these lives and give it to you for free. Everything that you ask, if I know it, I just tell you. I'm going to build a course. You can go buy the course. It just is what it is. Because what's really going to come out of you taking 5, 10, 20 minutes of my time? How do I win in that situation? How does that help my last name? You're going to take 5 minutes of my time, 10 minutes of my time. I don't know what you're going to talk about to drain all of the stuff that you can drain out of me without bringing any value to me at all. If you've been on my live for the last 97 weeks, this has to be a use situation. It's got to be a use situation. You using me for the information, I'm going to use you for things too. I ain't got no choice. I'm not going to let you misuse me because I'm not going to misuse you. This is the part where you got to wake up. My time is for my family, the people that I say I care about and love the most. Your time needs to be for your family, the people who you say you care and love the most. That's the truth. Anything outside of that, y'all, it got to be adding value to you. If it ain't adding value to you, so you can get the value back to your last name, why are you doing the stuff you're doing? Why are you really doing it? So let me get off of that for a minute. I know I kind of just dived in here today, but it was on my heart. It was on my heart today. But we got to wake up, y'all. Seriously. Seriously, we got to wake up. We cannot keep, you can't keep doing it expecting to get a different result, boys and girls. Forget what it's called. What's the point? Tell me, like, really, what is the point of doing something, expecting to see something different? You've already seen the movie before. How many times you gonna watch the movie? It's your favorite movie? Your favorite movie that you watching, how many times you done watched it? Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times? You gonna watch your favorite movie 100 times? What's gonna happen on 101 time? Anything different? Is anything different gonna happen on the 101st time you watch this movie? Are you gonna pick up something different? Think. Just think for a second. You spitting these scenes out verbatim. You know what's happening. You on the edge of your seat on 101 time you didn't watch your movie? Can't nobody watch the movie with you. Why? Because you're telling them everything that's happening. They don't even want to see the movie no more because you're talking too much. Think, y'all. Think. What about reading books? If that's what you like to do. But you got to ask yourself the question. How long have you been reading books? All the books, and I like that you said that, Max, so shout out to you. All the books that you didn't read, look at all these points to make sure we all on the same page. All the books that you have read right now has gotten you to the place you're at right now. I'm not going to ask you, are you happy? Because most people say, yeah, I'm happy where I'm at. You satisfied? Are you okay with being in the place that you're at right now today and never having any more growth? You got to keep reading books to do that, right? AKA, you got to keep buying products. Buying products, AKA books. That's all it is, y'all. These wealthy people that they sell you the dream on is reading 52 books a year, one book a week. These cats ain't reading books like that. They'll prove you a 200 grand. Shout out to that family. Mortgage 1250. Shout out to that family. Think. These books that are out here, it's just products, y'all. They're telling you a perspective on a certain part of time of their life. This stuff ain't real, y'all. I can tell you, the wealthy people that I'm around, I can assure you, the ones that I'm around, they ain't around here reading no book, y'all. They not. And I know this was, I know this stuff sound wild, y'all. But I don't know another way to say it. I can tell you, as a person that's been wealthy for 4.5 years, I can't tell you the last book I read. I can tell you I've been doing research, and then my research lead me to a book. I look in that book to go and get the information that I want out of it. And as soon as I get the information out of it, I don't care if it's the whole book or chapter one. The book is closed once I get what I need out of it. That's just the truth. Not because I don't like reading. I don't like wasting time. That's the difference. Wealthy people don't have money because wealth is not money. Wealth is time. Wealthy people become masters of time. I don't know another way to say that. I have no other way to say that. Think about what I've been sharing. Last year I worked 57 hours for the whole year of 2023. This year I've still worked 0 hours, y'all. The goal is to finish off 2024 working 0 hours. Why am I trying to work 0 hours this year? Because I'm trying to get my time back to the people that I care about and love the most. And when I get time outside of that, when they get time around, I pop on live just to shoot the breeze. Or sometimes I go think, I go research, take me some action on my own. Or I think I research with the spouse and take action with her. I think and I research with my kids and we take action. I think and I research with my brother, my sister, my cousin, with all these different people, and I take action. Think about that. Think. This stuff is way bigger than you. You're only on this planet only for a finite amount of time, y'all. And I don't want to scare anybody, but break we all leaving this planet. We all leaving this planet. So what do you really have to lose by betting on you? You have nothing to lose by betting on yourself. And that's why this stuff is super wild when I think about it, y'all. It's super wild. I was talking, me and my wife were talking to the CPA today, and we were going through some other things, doing our little normal projections for the year. And I'm like, man, we need to do this, we need to do that because that tax bill looking crazy. This tax bill looking crazy. And as we were going through that, that exercise with the CPA today, and I was like, I mean, maybe we need to do a holiday party this year. Maybe, maybe, you know, one of our business that got a good amount of employees, maybe the business need to, raffle off a vehicle. I don't know. That's what it's looking like. Maybe some TVs, maybe some trips for employees that we can raffle off. Like I'm just thinking about things because in my mind I'm saying to myself, I got to get the money away anyway. I don't know much about Belize, but if they got land for sale in Belize that you can afford, meaning you got the money to buy and it's for sale, they're not making no more land. Why not? It's a good deal. Make it happen. All land is good land. What else should you invest in outside of land? Um, Land. That sounds like a good plan too, Missy. Land. You got a nice insurance policy, pretty big one. They got a living benefit and a death benefit. Make that happen. Do you got a business currently right now that you're working? Or is it that you just don't want to invest in land because you're afraid of it or you think you don't have enough money to invest in it? I don't know. Those are questions you got to ask yourself. But here's what I do know. If y'all haven't saw the writing on the wall yet, everything's still going up, y'all. Rent still going up. Hmm. We ain't got to talk about the interest rate for too much long because at some point the interest rate stuff gonna balance out. The market gonna correct itself at some point when it comes to these houses. But you better believe the price of the houses are gonna go up again. I hope y'all know that. Even though it's gonna correct itself, it's gonna pull back a little bit, maybe the next 2 years or so. And I don't know this to be true. I'm just guessing. I ain't got no magic crystal ball in there. But in the next 2 years or so, the market gonna correct itself. So you might have an opportunity to get you some stuff in over the next couple of years. But the value of these houses is still going up, y'all. It is what it is, y'all. So what would I say about investments? Everybody gotta have a place to live. Just is what it is, y'all. I can't make that up. People gotta have a place to live. That's just the truth. People gotta have food. Your food is coming from somebody's land, y'all. I don't know what else to say, right? People got to have clothes on their back when they walk out their door. The clothes on your back is coming from somebody's land. I hope y'all just heard what I just said. People cannot live without their cell phones. They just can't. They can't. You need those cell phone towers. And guess what, boys and girls? It's on somebody's land. I'm not sure what your question is, family. So if you have a foundation set up, can you take 50% of your taxable dollars and use it for the cause? I mean, I guess you could. If you have a foundation set up right now, I mean, well, maybe you're saying if you set up a foundation. Because the question, let me ask you this question. Do you have a foundation right now today? Do you have a foundation right now today? No? Nah, it was somebody over here on TikTok asked that question. I got multiple platforms up, y'all. I think we on maybe 4 platforms right now. I thought we was on 6. We on 4. So we got Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube up right now. Those are the 2. I guess I didn't. Maybe they must have missed the question. So I'll keep moving. So let me say this. Um, let me say this. Let me say this. Let me say this. Let me say this. Well, you said we set up a foundation. Y'all set one up. So when you set up your foundation, right? I'm just curious. That wasn't outlined for you, or did you just set up the foundation on your own? Like you just filled out the paperwork yourself and created your own foundation, or did you go and sit down with preferably an attorney to set all this stuff up for you? Tax advisor, attorney for that, yeah. And the reason why I'm asking you that is if you did it on your own, I mean, it depends on how you set it up. I don't know what you did. If you sat down with a tax advisor or an attorney and set it up, they would have outlined that stuff for you. If you set up on your own, do you have a CPA, a tax attorney, right? If you got a tax attorney, that's a question for them. So they can look at what you got going on and then they'll be able to tell you exactly what you can and what you can't do. That's not information that I would suggest that you get from somebody on social media. I don't know your situation. I don't know how it's set up. I don't know what's going into it. And with your foundation, you don't want to break those laws. This is something you're suggesting for me. Hmm. I don't know how you can make that suggestion, family. You don't really understand what's going on with me. You don't know if I have a foundation or don't have a foundation. Just think through it a little bit, family. But nevertheless, I digress. And it's all love, family. No disrespect to you at all, family. I'm just one of those people that realistically, I believe you shouldn't share or talk about things if you haven't done it yourself. And there are some things you can talk about that you haven't done to yourself that you have experienced, but you ain't done it. I get it. But the reality of it is, most times, and this may not be for you, but most times when people start suggesting things for you, it's just to pique your interest enough to try to sell you something. I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. But most of the time, it's just people trying to pique your interest in order to sell you a product that they're selling. That's just me. I had a homeboy that used to do that all the time. Hey man, have you a pretty good salesman. I said, I am? How you know? Man, you're a good salesman, family. Now I'm with your family. I ain't tripping no way. I don't buy nothing off these places, no way, family. You're a good salesman, man. I said, I ain't know I was a good salesman. Man, have you ever thought about doing multi-level marketing? I ain't never thought about it, but since you asked, is it something I should be thinking about it? Because you said I'm a good salesman. Man, you should do that, man. You can make a lot of money doing that. For real? How much money can I make? He didn't pique my interest. He didn't pique my interest. Man, I've been thinking. I guess I should do it, man. Well, I got a team that I'm building, man. You can work. I can bring you on, man. $5.99. This stuff, wow, y'all. This stuff is whoa, wow. Think. Oh, you were suggesting? I get it. I think I heard you when you said it. I saw it when you wrote it the first time. But think of it this way, family. Taxes are your friend. Now, don't get me wrong. You don't want to go out and spend an arm and a leg spending all your money on taxes, but Uncle Sam's still your partner. The money that you earn that you're taxed on, believe it or not, is one of the things that these financial institutions, these lending institutions, look at to give you funding. So if I get rid of all this money and not pay no taxes on it, that means I ain't earn no money. And if I didn't earn no money, I can't get funding. Think. I look at things and I say to myself, I need that dollar for dollar match. I need it to be what? If you've been on my live long enough, I need this stuff to be public. Business expense, boys and girls. It can't be public. I need it to be private. It's going into trust, boys and girls. Caring about no taxes. If I owe them, I'm paying them. I'm not trying to figure out how to get around it. Think about that. Just for a second. And just for the sake of argument, we did set up a foundation. And I hear people talking about foundations all the time. And I be wondering to myself, how do they do it? Did they set it up themselves? What does a foundation really include? What did they do? Because I know when we started down that path, I said, man, this thing like $65,000 to $100,000 to set up. This is not something you should be setting up if you broke. This is not something you should be setting up if you're not earning no money. Not out the gate. You're not in the best position to do that. A lot of times people put that cart before the horse. And I say to myself all the time when I hear these things on social media, like I am live right now, and I see these things pop up, I'm always curious. I'm curious because a lot of times, and again, nothing towards you, family, but a lot of times these are just things that we heard in different places. Nobody's tested this theory out. These things work. They just haven't. Why? They can't afford it. And I don't know that to be true with everybody because some people can't afford it. I just don't run into too many people these days that can. I'm with you on that, family. But back to what I was wanting to go to specifically is this, y'all. Nothing stops you from getting to the next level but you. Whatever it is you want out of your life or for your life, as long as it's legal, just make it happen. If you want all these things that you didn't heard on social media, on radio, you didn't seen it on TV, your homeboy, your homegirl didn't told you about it. As long as it's legal, vet it out, make sure you done your due diligence on it. And if it's something that you really want, make it happen, y'all. Just make it happen. I'm with you on that, miss. I'm with you on that. I was and I don't even want to say this because it's the other day I was on a social media platform and an audio platform. Let me say it that way. And when I'm on this audio platform, I don't speak, y'all. I just stay and I just listen. And one of the things that I saw, I ain't gonna say I saw, I heard on this social media platform, it was pretty horrific, y'all. People were arguing back and forth about who said this about this person, who said this about that person. I thought I was in the Twilight Zone. And sometimes I go hear drama, y'all, just to kind of, I'm from that lifestyle, so I kind of, like, man, let me go see some drama. But I saw y'all, I didn't, or heard, I didn't expect to hear. I heard these two people going back and forth. And then I heard this person say, I'm going to be there in a minute. Then I heard this person say, do what you got to do. And the person showed up while they still was on this audio platform. And this person, how can I say this? That told the person they were going to come there, started playing Call of Duty in real life while on the audio platform that everybody could hear it. And when I say, I know I'm saying this in a different way because I don't want to get kicked on these platforms, but I'm being as super serious as I possibly can. When I say the person started playing Call of Duty in real life, the police showed up, a person left in the bag. I thought it was unreal, y'all. Until I did a little research, looked up the city and the state that they were in, and it was on the news. I witnessed this on a social media audio app. Why am I sharing this, y'all? I'm sharing it because people are really going through some real life situations that you have no clue about. What your situation is currently right now, you may think it's the worst thing in the world. It ain't even a drop in the bucket. These people had no fear, but they were stuck. But they had no fear about anything. Kids was in the house. The young lady who was having the altercation was touched allegedly 20 different times. She's still here. The young man that wasn't in this altercation, just trying to protect his home, ain't here no more, y'all. But these are the way that people live in real life. Now, I can think about when I was growing up, remembering things like this, y'all, having no fear, because that's how life was. Is your life that way today? Is your life that way today where you're not in fear of somebody coming to your door playing Call of Duty with you in real life? Appreciate your family. What fear do you really have in real life that's putting you to the point that you can't get off of your butt to go live your dream? That's legal. Help me make sense out of this. So when people say things to me like, man, you ain't got no fear about doing this, you ain't got no fear about doing that, I lived that life before. This stuff is a cakewalk. Some of y'all didn't live this same life. Y'all know people that's going through this stuff, but you scared. You telling yourself you got to step out on faith to start your little business. You telling yourself, I can't do that because I don't know how to do that. Make this stuff make sense. This stuff is super wild to me. But we can quarterback a situation. We can sit back and tell everybody what they need, what they don't need, how they need to do this, how they need to do that. You the best teacher on the planet, but you can't do it for your last name? Because you scared? What's up, family? Tomorrow is the future, y'all. It ain't here. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what it is, y'all. Tomorrow is the future. Yesterday is already gone, y'all. It's the past. I just said that, and the minute it left my mouth, it's the past. The present is a gift. That's why I called a present. It's the presence because it's a gift. Why are you wasting it? Every breath that you take, that you decide not to live your dreams, as long as it's legal, you wasting it. You just forcing yourself to get older to have a whole bunch of regrets. For what? This stuff's sad, y'all. This stuff is super sad. As I'm listening to these people on this audio app, and it was like a real live movie with a surround sound, Adobe. You heard people screaming, all type of stuff. It was super wild to me. I couldn't believe it. And I said to myself, it was not that I ain't seen before. It's nothing for me to tap back into those things that make me say things like, I'm willing to be put in the dirt, put somebody in the dirt, or go lay in that box for what I care about and love the most. Think. Just think. So what do you need? What do you need? Tap into that real fear. The fears that you didn't experience in your life, tap into it. And then ask yourself, The stuff that we talking about, is it really scary? Is it really that bad? Is it really that complicated? On this beautiful Tuesday, on this beautiful Tuesday, this beautiful Tuesday, y'all, think, do a little bit of research, and start taking action. You just got to make one step at a time, y'all. Take a step, then take another one, and just keep taking a step. Just start walking. Just start walking. You gonna get to your destination. It don't matter how long it take you to get there. Just start walking. You're gonna get there. Here's the scary thing about what this walking thing will do for you, right? As soon as you start walking and taking step, you're gonna be ahead of 99.99% of the people on this planet. Because most people ain't taking a step at all. As I dive into this plan, because I go through this 10-year plan every single time I'm on live, and I'm gonna continue going through um this live of 10-year plan. I'm gonna continue going through it. 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 Because at some point this stuff will click for people that it need to click for. Yeah, I am in a different mindset today. Over the last couple of days. And it's simply, Missy, and I think it's a good observation, right? It's simply because I'm learning that a lot of people, including me, we all have a long way to go, y'all. We all have a long way to go. We just do. We really have to just continue the journey because we always gonna grow. I can tell you, I was already disciplined, already focused. I'm even more disciplined and focused today than I was yesterday and the day before and the day before. And the reason why I'm more disciplined and focused more and more, I'm starting to to truly come into there is absolutely nothing off the table when it comes to something that I want in my life. I credit shout out to Cat William. I think Cat William won this club. Shout out to them two brothers, right? Cat Williams said, the only thing I gotta do is want it, and I got it. I can tell you 7 years ago, I don't know what clicked, what changed, because I don't think nothing changed drastically. But whatever it was in my mind, it's like maybe I've been thinking and brainstorming and researching things so much that I'm probably starting to tap into another percent of my brain power. All I gotta do is want it, and I got it. I'm gonna say that again because I know people heard it already, but I'm gonna say it again. All I gotta do is want it, and I got it. Think about how powerful that is. Just think about that for a second. How amazingly powerful that is. All I gotta do is want it, and I got it. You can't when you get to the place that you truly believe that all you gotta do is want it and you got it and really mean it, it's a wrap. But what it will do is it will put in perspective the things that you really want. It'll put in real perspective on what really matters too. Why? You're going to start to realize that you don't really want all the things you say you want. You're just going to realize these things. There are things that I want realistically, or that I used to say I want. Thinking about it today, I'm thinking to myself, but why? Why do I really want that? What's the point? Who is it really for? Because I ain't doing it for me at this point in my life. I ain't doing nothing for me. Am I doing it for my kids? Am I doing it for my Am I doing it for my great grandkids? Oh yeah, my wife do all the time, for sure. I really don't, but my wife do, for sure. Every morning, she be on it. She be focused on some stuff, though, man. But I guess in my mind, y'all, I'm in a place where in my life where all my dreams I'm making a reality, and that's a scary thought, y'all. It's really scary. Why it's scary is because when I'm having conversations with people, I have to catch myself and understand that they don't know yet. They will at some point in their life. But they just don't know yet. What does that mean for you tonight? That means if you're going to make a decision, the results will definitely follow. If you're going to make a decision that you no longer going to be sick and tired because you're working this dead end job, you're going to make a decision to do something different, the results will follow, y'all. I promise you. And I hate making promises, but I make a lot of promises and I hate it, but the results will follow if you make that decision. It just is what it is. So tonight, let me start here. For those of you that are thinking that I don't make enough money because I'm living paycheck to paycheck. For those of you thinking that I'm in all this debt and my credit bad. For those of you that thinking I need to have all this money saved. For those of you thinking I need to know all the right people, I'm going to tell you flat out, none of that is true. You don't need a whole bunch of money. In fact, you can start with your paycheck to paycheck. Your credit can be bad. It's okay. Credit is a thing that it's ebb and flows to it, people. It is what it is. That's just what it is, y'all. It don't matter about who you know. We're not in we're not in 1980. We're not in 1980 where you don't have access to information. So it ain't about who you know. That ain't what it is, y'all. In fact, the people that you need to know as you're taking your step, you're gonna know them. And you're gonna realize that you didn't need to know them to take your steps. That's the truth. You're gonna figure out as you're going through this process, you're gonna win. Shout out to that Miss Naya. Shout out to that. Down 35 points, and that's up with the credit. I know. It's crazy. So let's start here, y'all. How many people, you can put a one in the chat if this stuff apply to you. And I say this every single time, and we always go through the same thing every time I say this. And I'm so used to it. It's just like, okay, whatever. The people that is for is for. The people that ain't, it ain't for. But if you're on this live right now, and we go back through this 10-year process again on how you can get out of your rat race and change your bloodline life forever, how many people in the chat, if I walk through that process again, will actually use the information and apply it in your life? Put them in the chat if you would use the information. Everybody say everybody always gatekeeping. If you got some information that will help you change your life, would you use it? Put them in the chat if that's you, if you would do it. I know you said you used it and you did. I know that's right. Got a lot of me's over here on TikTok. We got some me's over here on YouTube and Facebook. Shout out to that. What about IG? I think those are the 4 platforms, man. What about IG? We got some people on IG? All right, we got some people on IG. All right. Take notes, because I don't really want to repeat this more than once. I'm going to try to take my time with it, but take notes. The replays, shout out to that, Miss Keisha. The replays are going to be on, man, a lot of platforms. Facebook at Xavier Gibson as soon as the live go down. It's going to be on Instagram at Zabo103 as soon as the live go down. And YouTube at Zabo103. If you're not following me on all these platforms, go follow, go like, subscribe, what they say, comment, share, whatever it is. It don't matter. Go do all that stuff they tell you to do. So let's get to it. While you're going through these steps that I'm about to share with you, that I didn't share for the last 97 weeks, I need you to do 3 things. I need you to think, I need you to research things, and I need you to take action. Let me back up a minute. I don't need you to do this stuff. You need to do it for you. You need to do this stuff for you. You need to think, you need to research, you need to take action. All right? The very first thing you got to understand is simply this, y'all. All this stuff that we're about to talk about, it's not about you. It's about your bloodline. It's about your last name, not your first. You're going to have to find it in your heart somehow to give your last name unconditional love. When you give your last name unconditional love, you're going to fight for your last name. That means every decision that you make, you're going to be making it for your last name. I hope y'all catching this. With that being said, you got to be real with yourself. You got to be real. And when I say be real, not this nonsense that people be talking about, the street terminology, what they talking about on, not that nonsense. I'm talking about you got to be completely honest with who you are. Why do you got to be completely honest with who you are? As you're going through this journey, y'all, people are going to remind you who you are. And in the process of them reminding you who you are, if you don't know who you are, it's going to make you upset. You're going to have to own this stuff. It's going to derail you because now you're going to be fussing and fighting with people that you say you care about and love the most, your family, your friends, whoever, because they calling you out. You're going to have to own you so nobody can derail you. When you become one with the truth about you, can't nobody take you off your square. When these people start to come at you, whether it's on social media, co-workers, whoever that you don't care about and love the most, they're not going to be able to take you out your square either. So you got to get in your heart, the people that you care about and love the most, you're going to provide unconditional love. You're going to need it. Because this stuff that I'm about to share, it ain't pretty. It just ain't. If you got bad credit, own it. If you own it, can't nobody embarrass you about you having bad credit. If you a liar, own it. But make your lies the truth. What do I mean when I say that? All this stuff you've been lying about, go out there and accomplish these things, and they're no longer a lie. I'm just telling you. Fellas, if you're not taking care of your kids, own it. That's your bloodline. Get out there and start being a better father. Moms, y'all ain't exempt. I ain't gonna talk about your parenting. My place. But you know if you're a good mom or not. You know you got some shortcomings. So you can start making the changes that are necessary. I hope y'all get the logistic. Start to understand who you are. Period. With that being said, I'm coming from a place of love. Everybody welcome. Again, I'm just showing love, y'all. That's it. The very first thing you got to understand about this process is no matter how much money you make enough. I can tell you, and I've told you for the last 97 weeks, you've been spending your money on BS. That's the truth. You have overextended yourself to put you in a position that you're paying or you're living paycheck to paycheck. How do I know that? If you got an apartment, you had to make 3 times the rent. If you got a mortgage, most likely with that 35% debt to income ratio, you're still somewhere around 3 times the actual mortgage. So if you're making 100 grand a year, and they say you can afford, I don't know. I'm just gonna throw a random number out there, y'all, just to make it 3 times whatever it is. You can afford $2,500 a month. You can afford $2,500 a month for your rent, for your mortgage. Okay. So if $2,500 a month coming out of that $8,000 a month that you bring home, that means, boys and girls, you got $5,500 left a month. Your utility bills in your apartment or in your house, even if you said it cost you $1,000 a month because you overspending yourself, you at realistically $3,500 a month. Now you're down to $4,500 a month. Nobody told you to go out there and get a car payment for $1,000, but you did. But you're still down to $3,500 a month. Your car insurance high. I'm paying $300-$400 a month. Call it $500 a month. Now you're down to $3,000 a month. Man, I put $1,000 a month worth of grocery in my house. Nobody told you to be eating steak and shrimp and lobster and all these expensive food all day. You better learn how to do something different. You're down to $2,000 a month. My kids in school, but I have to pay for aftercare. That's another $1,000 a month. You too proud to go and get that little assistant program somewhere. I don't know. You only got $1,000 a month. Boys and girls, you've overextended yourself. You got to stop spending your money on BSs and put your money in 3 places, boys and girls. 3 places. Basic living expenses. The biggest whole life insurance policy you can afford, and land. That's it. That's all. If you put your money into those 3 places and you give yourself that 10-year time frame, you can change your life forever. How do I know that? Because that's what I did. It will put you in a position to where you would never have to work for anybody else for the rest of your life. You're going to have to be disciplined. There are going to be some sacrifices that you have to make. You got to do what you got to do. But I got kids and I got to make sure I this and that. I got this. You didn't make that kid by yourself. Well, the parent that helped you make your kids. Go make this stuff happen, y'all. Basic living expenses. The biggest whole life insurance policy you can afford or life insurance policy. You got to have a living benefit, obviously a cash value, and land. If you put your money into those three places, y'all, it's a wrap. I promise you it's a wrap. There are people on social media that brag all day about them making 6 figures a year. And I laugh when I hear this stuff because I'm like, congratulations, you're broke. I know you overextended because you ain't did the real math. I'm not mad at you, but the truth is the truth. Put your money into those three places. You can start to win, y'all. Shout out to that family. That's what's up. You can win. You can absolutely win without even thinking about it. Just by changing your habits. Think of it this way, y'all. What are some basic living expenses you got to have? You got to have a roof over your head, food, water, clothes on your back, right? Those are kind of basic. The roof over your head gonna come with what? You got a light bill. Maybe you got a cable bill. Maybe you got a cell phone bill. Maybe you got a car payment. Maybe you got car insurance. You got gas. You got grocery. Like you got these things, right? You got to put in your mind, how can I make these sacrifices in order to put my bloodline in a better position? Well, how can I make sacrifices with basic living expenses? I can tell you 70% of the people in this country is obese. Food. You going out spending $4, $5, $6, $7, $1,000 a month on food. Go look at your stand and look at how much money you spending on food. You ever thought about fasting? I can't make you do it. I ain't trying to make you do it, but I'm just explaining. Have you ever thought about it? Have you ever thought about getting healthy? Maybe all this stuff you put in your body is expensive, or you putting the cheap stuff. You just put a lot of cheap stuff in you. Get healthy. Why? Y'all say it all the time. Your health is your wealth. Your health is your wealth. The healthier you are, the bigger the insurance policy you can get. Don't tell nobody I told you that. Get healthy. You getting healthy lowers one of your bills. One of your basic living expense bills that you have. If you get healthy, it'll lower one of your bills. I want y'all to understand what I just said. It will lower one of your major bills that you have by you getting healthy. I'm just talking about the food one for right now. Forget if you got a whole bunch of medicines you got to pay for. You in and out the doctor because you ain't healthy. If you're on disability, still fine. Same process. Ain't nothing changed but the date. Those three places, basic living expenses, the biggest whole life insurance policy you can afford, and land, let me get through it. Credit bad. Let's say I got a 450 credit score. Let me call it 397. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there right now. That means I got collections, whole bunch of charge-offs. I got all type of crap on my credit. And I ain't really got no plan to pay nobody. Because I ain't got no money. Say my credit bad. I do make six figures a year, right? Everybody makes six figures a year. Even though the median income is $57,000 a year. But I make six figures a year and my credit bad. How I made six figures a year in my credit bad? Because you took that trip. You're treating everybody like you got it like that. You've been making these minimum payments and now you can't afford these minimum payments no more and your balance ain't even went down. It's going to take you 60 years to pay this. It's going to take you 60 years to pay this debt off. You got a $4,000 credit line. It said $4,500. It's going to take you 60 years to pay it off. Got to be more careful. 397 credit. Make 100 grand a year. I'm at the crib, you know. Maybe I got a spouse or maybe it's just me. I'm going to call it just me because if you got a significant other, you know, you can kind of what I'm saying, if that makes sense. But for right now, I'm going to say it's just me. I make six figures a year, 397. It's just me. I'm living a single life. I ain't got no kids because now, these days, not having a kid, people be flexing when they ain't got no kids. I ain't mad at you though. Do what you do. I put up a post about being 40 and being a grandpa, and people like, well, I ain't got no kids, let alone some grandkids. You don't understand that you weren't supposed to have no kid. I'm thinking to myself, but you're the same person talking about you're gonna build generational wealth without a generation to leave it to. Make this make sense. It sounds good. What you ain't on? And that can go both ways, y'all. I ain't gonna get in that. So let me go back to it. Single, no kids, make 100 grand a year, go 397. I don't live in my own house. I ain't got no house. I live in an apartment. I got a condo downtown because it made sense. I ain't got the most expensive one, but I'm in a condo. Got my nice little car, doing what I do. My focus change. I'm going to change my life. You got to change to change. This 100 grand a year, I'm bringing home about $65,000 a year after tax and all this other stuff I got going on. 65 grand. My money going to three places. Basic living expenses, biggest whole life insurance policy I can afford, and land. Now I'm getting healthy because my health is my wealth. I'm going to take that $65,000 and 40 grand of that $60,000 is going to go into basic living expenses. Not a penny more, not a penny less. I ain't worried about paying my creditors because my credit already shot. Got all these charge offs on my credit. Hope y'all caught that. I'm going to have 25 grand left out of this 40 grand that I took out of that $65,000. Out of that 25,000 I got left, 15 grand is going to the biggest whole life insurance policy I can afford. It got a living benefit and a death benefit, y'all. That's going to leave me with 10 grand. I'm not taking my 10 grand going out on dates and doing all this stuff. I can't afford to go on no date. I just can't. I want right now, if my significant other ain't willing to see my vision and follow suit with what I got going on, I can't afford it. What am I going to do? I'm going to take that last $10,000 and I'm going to go get me 2 acres of land. And I'm doing this process every year. I know people going to say you can't even get 1 acre land for $10,000. I know. That's why I said 2. You're not buying land in no major city. You're buying land at least 30 minutes outside of the major city. In every state across this country, you can get on average an acre of land for $5,000 or less. So I'm gonna get me 2 acres of land. 2 acres of land for $10,000, $15,000 whole life insurance policy, 40,000 going to basic living expense. I'm still living paycheck to paycheck, but that's okay. I'm gonna focus. I'm gonna continue to get more healthy. I'm gonna continue thinking. I'm gonna continue doing my research so that I can take action. Over the next 10 years of me doing exactly what I just said here, in year 10, I will own 20 acres of land minimally. Notice I ain't saying that about no loan, y'all. Notice I ain't saying that about partnering with nobody. I ain't saying that about no tax deeds. I ain't saying nothing about nothing other than I will own 10 acres of land debt free when it comes to that land. Watch this. That whole life insurance policy, I've been putting that 15 grand in that's been getting compound interest on that money, tax free, that I can borrow against and pay myself back with interest. I could never save $200,000. You know how many people got a yearly? You think about this for a second. Whatever your yearly salary is, have you ever had that amount of money at one time? If you make 100 grand a year, have you ever had $100,000 at one time that you can touch? Here I am in 10 years, been putting this money away. I got 200 grand I can touch and pay it back with interest. Think about what I just said. This credit thing, yeah, I can go down the process of fixing my credit by calling LexisNexis. The person that picks up the phone at LexisNexis telling them to freeze my Clue report in my personal file. Sell me on some extra stuff. I could just tell them, thank you. I could, right? They gonna send me out a PIN number. Once I get that PIN number in about 3 days or so, I'm gonna reach out to Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, start disputing. I know they got 30 days to verify this information. What I didn't know is they gotta reach out to LexisNexis to verify this information. And being that my Clue report in my personal file is frozen, I know nothing ain't coming back. And we all know what happened when nothing comes back. It's coming off your credit. Think, y'all. Think about that for a second. I know I can do that. Let's just say I'm so focused on being disciplined with this, I just lose sight of that. I could go and reach out to NACA immediately, start fixing my credit, and then go buy me a property through NACA. I could find me a home in their area because I make too much money by myself. I'm making 100 grand a year. I think they limit is probably like 75,000. I don't know what it is, but it's lower than 100 grand. I can move into the NACA zone so I can get me a property. So within those 10-year time frame, I can be building me some money. But let's just say I stay in an apartment for the next 10 years because I want to stay in that zone. Let's just say I do that because it seems like the right thing to do, right? Say I don't want to fix my credit right now. Over the next 10 years, everything that was on my credit is off. Remember, I ain't go to college, y'all. I ain't got no student loans. And if I do, every time a new administration come in, they give a forgiveness plan for your student loan. I'm going to get it forgiven. But let's just say, on top of this credit thing, it's on my credit over the years, it's gone. So I done went changes from a 300 and my credit. I'm not putting that on my credit. I ain't going to apply for no credit. I ain't doing none of that. My car payment is paid off. So that's the only good thing I got on my credit. Everything else then came off. I hope y'all understand what I just said. In year 10, I'm going to go and tap into my life insurance policy and borrow that $200,000. And when I go borrow that $200,000, remember in this 10-year time frame, remember what I said at the beginning, you thinking, you researching, and you taking action. I'm understanding that I'm going to learn everything I need to learn about building some residential homes, because the reality of it is, I know that's my first move. So when I borrow this 200 grand, I know the moves I need to make from start to finish to get me a property that ain't gonna cost me 200 grand to build it. I can get it built for 150. But we gonna call it 200 grand because that's what most people think. I'm gonna go build this property for 200 grand. Cash that I'm taking from my policy, it's easily worth 400 grand. What you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take a acre of the 20 acres that I own, that 200 grand, and build me a single family home. You know, something like maybe I can squeeze really a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, new construction, single family home out of that 200 grand. Let me ask y'all the question. Where you live at today, 30 minutes outside of the city, if you go and you try to rent right now today, 30 minutes outside of your city, a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, new construction home, how much is the rent? I just want to see. Notice I ain't said 3-bedroom. I'm saying 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, new construction. You paying $3,500 a month easy. It ain't even close. It might be more than that, depending on where you live. Easy. And that's scary. Let me ask another question. Just another question. Just another question. How much you think the rent gonna be in 10 years? On a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, new construction house. How much you think that rent gonna be in 10 years? That's when you're gonna become a landlord. Easily 5K. Easily double in some states. Think. What does that mean for you? Let's say we charging $5,000 a month for this beautiful property. New construction. What you gonna do with this property? You gonna rent it out. What you gonna do after you rent it out? Now it's time to put this property in debt and let your tenant pay it back. You're gonna mosey right on up to the bank now. Now we're talking about a loan. And when you get up there to the bank, you're gonna ask the bank, I need y'all to put a mortgage on this property. Who's the lien holder on this property? Me. You don't have no debt on this property right now? No. How much debt are y'all willing to give me on this property? Well, this property is valued right at about 400 grand. So if you're an investor, so you can put 20% down. 20% of $400,000 is $80,000, boys and girls. Good thing you got it in equity. Now the bank gonna look at your ability to pay and your willingness to pay. Your willingness to pay is gonna be your credit. The only thing that's gonna be on your credit at this point is your beautiful car payment that you then paid off. That's it. Everything else then fell off. The bank want that money. They also gonna look at your ability to pay. Well, you make 100 grand a year. You ain't got no debts. right now at all. But you got a tenant in here paying you $5,000 a month. We'll give you this 80% loan, $320,000 to you. 320. It only costs you $200,000 to build this property that you borrowed from your life insurance policy. You already paying it back with interest anyway. You haven't stopped paying it. You haven't stopped. You get $320,000 in your hand. That means you got your $200,000 back it took you to build, plus an extra $120,000 on top of that, tax free, because it's a loan that your tenant about to pay back. Now I ain't got my bond pile ain't got the numbers on it right now, but on a $320,000 mortgage, how much is that mortgage payment? Anybody can do that quick math for me real quick? What's the mortgage on $320,000? Anybody know that number off the top of their head? Got a calculator? You can probably calculate that. 2,500. 2,500 a month. Mm, mm. Let's bump this up a notch. Let's say it's $3,000. You know, taxes. I don't know. I'm just throwing random stuff out there. $3,000 a month. Your tenant paying you $5,000. $3,000 went to the mortgage. $2,000 in your pocket. I got $320,000 in this hand. I got another $2,000 a month. It's game over. Your life has just changed. Now I know that ain't $100,000 a year. Not yet. Not until you do the math, PH. So what are you gonna do? You got 19 more acres left. You only gonna do this a total of 20 times. If I do this a total of 20 times, and every time I do this, it's costing me $200,000 to build me a property. I'm getting $320 back, which means I'm getting my $200,000 back plus an extra $120,000 every time. $120,000 times 20, if I carry the one, is $2.4 million tax free that your tenant's paying back. Notice where you started from. Where I started from, $100,000 a year, living paycheck to paycheck, credit score 397, living the big life. Two, I done got my credit score up over 600 over the last 10 years because everything that was bad fell off. I've been putting my money into this policy that I got able to borrow $200,000 a year 10. I've acquired 20 acres of land, debt free. Where we doing this stuff at, y'all? What business are y'all doing this stuff, doing these type of numbers? Without even breaking a real sweat. You didn't build no house. You get a property manager, like a agent, a property manager, so you can vet people out. You'll rent it out. $280 on hand, yeah, you can still do it. Think of it this way, right? If you got about $280 to play with for the most part, right? Realistically, you could. Let me turn this up over here, y'all. Hold on. Realistically, you could, even if you wanted to start kind of small, and you don't want to be too far out in the sticks right now because you got that type of capital to play with right now. You could get closer to the city. You could, right? So you're not dealing with like possibly impact fees. You're not dealing with extra money for utilities. You're not dealing with septic tank. You're not dealing with all that. You could spend about $30,000 for a lot. It ain't gonna be an acre, but that's okay. Got that city right there. Everything right there in front of you. You pay $30,000 for that lot. You then could turn around realistically and take that same $200,000 and build that same home you were gonna build all the way out there, wherever you was at, and do the exact same thing right now. You did it debt free. Put your tenant up in there. Once your tenant up in there, go put it in debt. Get your money back so you can go continue doing the same thing. You could. But all this stuff that I'm talking about, y'all, it started from me living paycheck to paycheck and not having nothing. Think about that for a second. I always forget this. If you get $5 grand a month, right? Hold on a second, y'all. If you get $5 grand a month from your tenant, the mortgage we said was $3 grand, you got that $2.4 million because you didn't walk through this process. That other $2,000 a month that was over there, that was remaining from that $5,000 or the $3,000 mortgage you were paying through your tenant, that $2,000 ain't taxed out the gate, y'all. You got to get what's called a return on your capital first. You know, that $80,000 that you had to put down on your property to 20%, the $80,000 in equity, you got to get that $80,000 back before that $2,000 is taxed. You also getting that 20 times. I don't know, let's do quick math. 20 times $2,000 is $40,000 a month on top of the $2.4 million. What job y'all got making this type of money? What business you got making this type of bread? I'm listening. And if we're really gonna put this stuff in perspective, how much work you doing? You got to be the general contractor to go out there because you've been studying this stuff to get these property built so you can get it at a cheaper price than what you're doing. But the reality of it is, once these properties are up and running, got their tenants in it, got these mortgages on it, you didn't hire the property manager to manage these properties. What work are you doing? What work are you doing? You hired a property manager. You paying away 10, 12%. I don't know what it is. Like some places 10%, some places like 12. Let's say you're giving them $600 a month out of that 2,000. Who cares? It don't even matter. We ain't even talked about taking the 27 years of depreciation on that property. We ain't talked about that yet. Come on, y'all. This stuff is wild. But you just got to do something with this information, y'all. That's the key. When you think, when you research, and you take action, you can win. This stuff is not complicated. I'm going to be the first person to tell you, I understand that you can get sidetracked. I get it. And if you're getting sidetracked, guess what, y'all? It's okay. When you see that you're losing focus, get back focused. No one, I mean, no one is coming to save you. It ain't going to happen. You got to get up and do it yourself, y'all. And I can assure you, there are people that are in a way worse situation than you. You're in a place of privilege and you have no clue. You have no clue how much of a place of privilege that you're in. Uh-oh. Did I do that? I always try to turn it up. You just don't. So look, y'all, I've been on here. I said I'm going to be on here about an hour. I think I've been on here almost 2 hours. I'm about to pop up off here. What tomorrow? Tomorrow is Wednesday. Wednesday, I'll be back on tomorrow. I'm probably gonna try to pop on around the same time so y'all can catch up. Um, well, That depends, right? It depends what you're trying to do. So let me ask you a question. Like when you're talking about like bankruptcy and things like that, because a lot of people they get ashamed by those things. And it's like I was just telling people, you got to be honest with yourself. As a person that was at Bank of America for 20 years as an executive without a college degree, I understood that bankruptcy wasn't as terrible as people thought it was. I understood that. And with me understanding that, I made a very conscious decision that I said, let me outweigh what's really real, right? If I file bankruptcy, Chapter 7, and get rid of everything, right? If I get rid of everything that I got, how long would it take me to rebuild my credit to be in a better place? When I started outweighing pros and the cons of it, it made sense. 120 days for it to discharge. When it discharged, guess what happened, y'all? When it discharged in 4 months, everybody and mama will offer me things. You know why they were offering me things? Because they knew I couldn't file bankruptcy again for the next 7 years. But they didn't understand that I knew something a little bit different. They didn't understand that I learned my lesson. What was the lesson I asked? Man, they're going to give me these credit cards that's going to have these high annual fees. There's going to be some high interest rates, right? But when I get these credit cards, I understand if I'm paying it off in full every single month before the account cycles, I know I ain't got no interest. I knew that. I also understood that the only way you spend money is if you're making money. So what did that make me do? I got to pay these bills anyway. Let me take my credit cards and pay my bills, and when I get paid, I can pay it off in full. I was going to pay my bills anyway. I became very responsible about what I was doing. I didn't go out and buy no very expensive car. I can remember like it was yesterday. I'm 6'3". I was close to almost what I was like 275. I was a big dude. I went and bought me a brand new Nissan Sentra. I hope y'all understand. Personal. I hope y'all get what I just said. A Nissan Sentra. I'm 6'3". I was damn near 275 pounds. I want y'all to hear what I just said. I'm still 6'3" today, y'all. I hover around like 185, 195. I got it's like 10 pounds here and there all the time. I want y'all to understand what I just said. I'm trying to put this in perspective. Within about 6 months, within about 6 months, I seen my credit score go to 750. But I still had that bankruptcy on my credit. So people wouldn't try, like, some people would still touch me, but some people wouldn't even still touch me at all. And then I started realizing I'm at Bank of America every single day, and we have people using a tool called LexisNexis to skip trace people to get phone numbers, addresses, all that stuff so they can market to them. So I said to myself, I need to figure out what else this company do. This don't make sense. Why they got all this information? When I found out they had all my credit information, I was like, why y'all got all my credit information? Addresses, all this stuff. This don't make sense. I started connecting the dots. And I realized that these credit bureaus was using LexisNexis for the information. So I called LexisNexis. I started going in. I don't want y'all sharing my information. Who gave y'all that permission? Well, you can freeze your clue report. I can. What is that? Well, it just stops anybody from getting your information. We have an extra privacy you can pay for. I can't afford to pay for nothing. Y'all should be giving it out no way. I'm going off. Well, we're gonna send out a pin number and we're gonna freeze that clue report for you. You're not in the state where you need a personal file. Okay. When they froze it and they no longer get the information, I had the bright idea to start disputing stuff. I ain't had nothing on my credit, but that bankruptcy. I'm disputing that bankruptcy. They steady saying they verify. I call LexisNexis back. Hey, how the credit bureau saying they verifying this information that I got on my credit through y'all. They not verifying no information with us. You don't have nothing here. Your stuff is frozen. Couldn't believe it. So I said to myself, let me go and see where I can get this information from. So I Googled, where can I verify a bankruptcy? They told me the courthouse. I said, the courthouse? This don't make sense. I got to go down to the courts. I couldn't believe it. So I called down to the courthouse because I was pissed. Y'all should be giving out my personal information like this. They're like, what are you talking about, sir? I said, I want to verify this bankruptcy. They said, well, you can't do it over the phone. I said, what do you mean you can't do it over the phone? So how y'all letting these companies verify my information, my bankruptcy over the phone? Because I ain't showing up to the court. No one can verify your bankruptcy that way, y'all. The only people or the only person that can verify your bankruptcy is you with a photo ID in person. I'm the only person that can verify my bankruptcy in person with a photo ID. So why they lying to me? I'm coming down there right now. Showed the lady my ID. She said you can pay $25 to get all the information on it, to get it printed out. I said, I'll be damned. I called those people at the bureau and I told them, hey, y'all didn't verify my information. Y'all haven't called the courts at all. I need y'all to verify this information. Well, they're gonna verify it again. They came back and said they verified it again. Now I remember when I was at Bank of America, there was a place called the CFPB. I know every time the bank used to get hit in the head with some type of suit, it was the CFPB that was leading the charge. I remembered you can make a complaint with the CFPB. So I went to the CFPB and made a complaint. The credit bureaus are lying, saying they verified this bankruptcy, but they didn't verify this bankruptcy with the court. That's the only place they can verify. Make them re-verify. The CFPB kickback and said you will have a response in 7 days. Would you believe in 7 days that bankruptcy was removed off my credit and I ain't paid nobody to do it? You know what that did to my credit score? It was already in the 700s. Think. I know I get a little bit passionate about this stuff, but what I'm explaining to y'all is the right time to make the decision to do things is on you. I can't tell you when you know or when you should do something. You got to tell yourself this stuff. The decision with me was simple. I had to get out of this situation. Decision for me was simple. Man, I can't keep struggling and I'm making I'm making 6 figures a year. I can't do this. There got to be a better way. I made the decision, y'all, and the results followed. It's just that simple. So look, y'all, I've been on for almost 2 hours straight. I said I wasn't gonna be on here all day. I hope this live was helpful. Again, all the replays will be up on You got it on. It's going up instantly on Instagram at Zabo103. It's going up on YouTube at Zabo103. It's going up on Facebook at Zabian Gibson. All these replays will be up. Yeah, I think I do. It should be on. Those lives are probably going to be on the YouTube. They should definitely be up. Probably going to get back out to the land pretty soon. Because we got to go out there and they want to figure out where they want to put their estate at, the best place. We got a location, but they saying we got to walk it to make sure. I'm like, okay. So I'm gonna head back out there again pretty soon. I will be live. Y'all just stay tapped in with your boy. Turn on your notifications. Follow, follow, follow. Engage. Not a survey. This is for where the actual property is gonna sit. But follow, follow, follow. Engage with the conversation. A lot of times people say, man, I ain't see that you were live. Or man, I don't be seeing none of your stuff anymore. It comes from the engagement from what I've heard on social media. So when you see me post something, regardless, engage with the post. Engage with it. Engage with it. Engage with it. Engage with it. And that'll help you start to see my stuff. Have you ever noticed when you go on there, you view somebody's stuff for a little while, you see all their stuff all the time? Or when you like it or you comment on it, you see their stuff every time they do something? It works the same way, y'all. Is what company still around? LexisNexis? 100%. They still here. Still today. LexisNexis. 100%. So look, y'all, let me get up off here. Again, if you found value, the CFPB, 100%. CFPB as in boy. Um, Pine Dust, yeah, I was listening to that. I was just watching somebody talk about that yesterday. It's kind of funny. But if you found value in this live, do yourself a favor. Go do your research over me, search boys and girls. And in the meantime, look, y'all be good or have fun being bad. And I'll see y'all on the other side of the sun. Peace.